Hello, Que Mai. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I just said it to you. This is an amazing novel. I've read it a long time ago, and that was one of my best readings, really, about so many things, about Vietnam, of course, the history of Vietnam, and of course, a family story that we can discover through the novel. And I was absolutely amazing. And I just say it to you, you're one of the best writers I've met in the world literature. So thank you very much for this novel. I had just a few questions for you. Like, first of all, how did you decide to write this novel? What was the beginning of that? Why did you decide to write this novel about Vietnam, about the history of Vietnam? So when did you start to create this book?
Thank you so much, Lola, for the great work you do for literature and for speaking about my book so beautifully when it first came out in France. And I need to thank my translator, Sarah Tadi, for doing such an exceptional job, and to my editor, Camille Jure, who bought the translation rights for my book and published it both in the French language. And you know, one of the reasons I had to write this novel is to have a grandmother. So when I was born, both of my grandmothers had died. So I really was jealous of friends who had grandmothers. So I went to their homes and listened to the stories of their grandmothers, and I told myself one day I would need to write a book to have a grandmother in it so that I would have a grandma. So you know, so I interviewed a lot of people for this book, like hundreds of people, and I wanted to document Vietnamese histories through the lives of the people. So in this book you will see Vietnam as a country with more than 4,000 years of history and culture, and Vietnamese people as those who love our families and who would fight, you know, and who would do everything to keep our families together, the families that were torn away by many wars and many armed conflicts.
And was it difficult to write about this whole time, because this is a long story of Vietnam? Was it difficult to take all the documents, maybe to say reality, because we see histories of countries through our points of views in our countries, and so maybe to speak from the point of view of a family of many women in Vietnam, maybe was it difficult to talk about to talk through the point of view of a young girl, then a grandmother, then a mother? Was it difficult to take this point of view?
Yeah, it was difficult, especially because I did so much research. So I had stacks of information. I had so many stories that I wanted to bring into this novel. But there was one point that I told myself, okay, I need to kind of abandon everything. It's like I needed to grow this tree, you know, and I had done the research. So the research that I did became the garden for me to plant this tree of a novel. So with my creative technique, I made the trunk and the branches for the novel. But it's the readers like you who made the tree, you know, gain leaves and flower and bear its fruits. So I think a tree would be dead without readers. So I'm very thankful to readers like you, and also, you know, to many people who shared with me their personal stories and their courage and their you know, their love for life. And I think it took me 7 years to write this book, and there were moments that it was so difficult. I wanted to quit, because, you know, I always doubted myself that I quit my job, my paid job, to stay home and become a writer. But it was the stories that I witnessed, that I heard, that moved me so deeply, that you know, compelled me to kind of overcome all challenges and to write, because, you know, these stories need to be heard.
Yes, and so you had many returns, I think, from Vietnamese people who maybe had the same story and the same grandmother and the same same roots. Did you have returns from many readers in Vietnam?
I mean, there were readers who wrote to me and who said, "Oh, this is exactly what happened to my family, you know. I think that there are just so many people who saw themselves in this novel and who saw themselves in the characters. And I mean, there were many Vietnamese people who then wrote to me who said, this is what happened to my family, you know, like in your novel. And it's the most incredible things.
And about the translations, because your novel was here in France, are you happy about this book traveling the world and with all the translations in English, in Spanish, in French? What does it represent to you to have this book traveling all around the world?
You know, I'm just so grateful that this book is now being translated into 25 languages, and this is more than a dream come true. And I just want to thank, you know, all the translators, editors and publishers who work silently behind the scenes to uplift my voice. And it's like, you know, very rarely that a Vietnamese writer is translated and published internationally. So this is a great honor. So thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, and congratulations for all the work you made and for the book, which is amazing, really. So thank you very, very much.
Thank
See
you.
you soon, I hope.
See you, and thank you for all the work that you do for literature.
Thank you.
You to all the bookstagrammers out there who reviews book. And I know that a lot of you, you know, spend time, you know, unpaid just to read and review books out of your passion, and you uplift writers like me, stories from faraway places, and I would not be here without you. So I thank you so much.
And if you don't know what to read this summer, you absolutely have to read this book, which is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.